Welcome into the best of the Gary Parrish Show. Bennett Doyle here, and we put together some of our favorite clips from the past year. And one of the big topics, obviously, was conference realignment this year when Memphis was offered an invitation into the Pac-12. They turned it down. GP had some thoughts on Memphis turning down that invite to the Pac-12. Here's that now.
We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start with conference realignment because, as expected, this week has become a historic week in the history of conference realignment as it pertains to the University of Memphis, and that's because we now know that the Pac-12 did officially offer Memphis an opportunity at membership. Did Memphis accept? Nope. Instead, Memphis declined the offer and instead recommitted to the American Athletic Conference because whenever you're given a chance to recommit to a league that has 0 football members in the top 60 at MasseyRatings.com, other than Memphis, and 0 men's basketball members in the top 80 of BartTorvik.com's preseason rankings, other than Memphis, I guess if you have a chance to recommit to that league, you have to recommit to that league. On behalf of Memphis fans, let me boo. Can I boo? Boo. Bennett, you want to boo?
Boo.
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 Boo. Memphis passed on a better league. That's the simplest way to put it. That's a depressing sentence to say. I imagine for some of you, perhaps even most of you, it's a depressing sentence to hear. University of Memphis officials and those who support the decision, they have a list of reasons why they believe it was a sensible decision to make, and I respect that. I'm not here to yell and scream. I want to boo a little bit, but I'm not here to yell and scream and call anybody names. I've done all that before. No need to do it again today. Respectfully, though, I do think that they have looked at this entire situation incorrectly and ultimately made a wrong decision. It doesn't mean the people who made the decision are stupid, or it doesn't mean that they're dumb. I don't think I'm stupid. I don't think I'm dumb, but I do know that I've made some wrong decisions before. Even competent people sometimes make bad decisions. Everything doesn't have to be an indictment of anybody's intelligence and or integrity. So before I move forward, I hope I've made that clear. If so, allow me to continue and tell you that barring a surprise, you're going to look up in, say, 2 years as a Memphis fan, and you're going to see 2 Pac-12 schools ranked in the top 25 play each other on a platform to be determined. And in that same week, you'll be watching Memphis play against somebody you don't care about. Maybe the Big 12 will save you one day. Maybe the ACC will save you one day. If not, what I just described is going to be your reality. Because don't let anybody confuse you on this. The new Pac-12, whatever it ends up looking like, is going to be better than the current AAC. Now, if you've been listening over here, you already know that. If not, you might be misinformed, because I've seen people I respect and like tweet and say things like the Pac-12 won't be much better than the AAC, or the Pac-12 won't be a Power 4 conference. That second part is true. It's not going to be a Power 4 conference. It's not going to be what it was. But the first part is untrue. It is going to be better than the AAC. I don't care how you slice it up. The new Pac-12 will prove to be a better conference than the AAC because, you ready for this? It's going to have better members. Simple as that. Simple as that. Better members. Historically, that's true. In present times, it's true. Like I said yesterday, I keep hearing people say the new Pac-12 won't be a Power 4 league, as if any reasonable person has ever even suggested as much. That is a straw man argument. The Power 4 is the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, and the ACC. The Pac-12 will not crack that. We all understand. You don't have to tell us that. We already know. I've been telling you that. It won't be a Power 4 league, but what it will be is the best conference in college athletics outside of the Power 4. That's what it's going to be. There are a lot of ways to illustrate this. One way is to simply take a snapshot at present times. So let's do that. Let's take a snapshot right now, present times. Let me walk you through this so that next time somebody tries to tell you, I don't even know if the new Pac-12 is going to be better than the AAC, you can say, well, you should have done a little Google searching because it's all there for you. Next time somebody tries to tell you the new Pac-12 won't be better than the AAC, just play what I'm about to say to you back to them. Right now, with Memphis and the AAC has exactly one football member in the top 60 at MasseyRatings.com. And that one football member is Memphis. One. Follow me here. Take notes if you need to. If you take Memphis right now out of the AAC and put it in the Pac-12 with the other confirmed Pac-12 members, that league would have 5 football members in the top 60 at MasseyRatings.com right now. Specifically, number 21, Washington State, number 32, Oregon State, number 49, Memphis, number 53, Boise State, and number 59, Fresno State. If UNLV joins, which is reportedly back on the table under consideration, that would make it 6. Because UNLV right now is 45th at MasseyRatings.com. What's better, Bennett? One top 60 football team or 5 without UNLV, 6 with UNLV?
I'm going to go with 5.
You think having 5 in the top 60 is better than having 1? You
Yes.
think having 6 in the top 60 is better than having 1? Okay, I agree. I don't know how anybody could disagree. Now let's talk men's basketball.
Yeah, let's talk.
Right now with Memphis, the AAC has exactly one men's basketball member in the top 80 of the preseason rankings at BartTorvik.com. That is, surprise, surprise, number 32 Memphis. But if you took Memphis right now and put it in a new Pac-12, that league would then have, you ready for this? 5 men's basketball teams in the top 80, specifically number 32 Memphis, number 67 Boise State, number 77 San Diego State, number 79 Utah State, and number 80 Colorado State. Add number 8 Gonzaga, which is reportedly on the table, and that's 6 men's basketball teams in the top 80 because Gonzaga's in the top 10. What's better, Bennett? I don't mean to pop quiz you like this. One top 80 men's basketball team or 5 or 6?
I'm going to go with 5 or 6, GP.
You want to be in a one-bid league or a league that should annually get multiple bids?
I'll take multiple.
So can we please stop with the Pac-12 isn't that much better nonsense? That's a lie. It's just silly.
I thought that, I thought that was insane yesterday that people were. I mean, I get it. Like, you're trying to justify, like, why we're here and why we made this decision, but come on.
Come on.
Yeah.
Don't lie to me.
Yeah,
I got
don't
Google.
lie to me.
I can look this stuff up. The new Pac-12 will not be the old Pac-12. That's another one I hear people say. Nobody has said it will be.
No.
The new Pac-12 won't be a Power 4 league. We know, but the new Pac-12 will be notably better than the AAC. If you're incapable of understanding that, you just need to remove yourself from the conversation. You don't need to participate anymore. So after hearing what I just said, you might be wondering, well, why did Memphis stay in the AAC then? Good question. I don't know. But the answer mostly seems to be money, right? Reportedly, the AAC was going to require Memphis to pay something around $25 million to leave. Reportedly, the Pac-12 would only agree to cover about 10% of that. Mm-hmm. And what Memphis officials will tell you is that it's simply too big of a price to pay. Now, obviously, it's a lot of money. I can't argue against that. I do have 2 questions, though. One, why would a university agree in the first place to this kind of exit fee connected to a group of 5 league?
That's a good question.
All right.
Yeah.
Seems like that was a mistake on the front
whoever
end.
Made that decision.
A mistake on the front end,
Which was a previous
admittedly
administration,
made by other people.
Yep.
But if you have an exit fee that prevents you from doing something you'd otherwise like to do, you have signed a bad deal. All right? So that's one question. How do you even end up in the situation? Question number 2, how do all these other schools always figure out a way to pay the exit fees? Pop quiz, quick question for you.
God, there's too many of these.
How many other schools in the country have had a chance to upgrade leagues but declined to do it mostly because of an exit fee?
I can't think of one.
It doesn't happen. It doesn't really happen. I'm not telling you it's never happened. I'm just telling you it's not a common thing. History tells us when schools are given a chance to upgrade leagues, they do it. Exit fees don't typically stand in the way. You figure it out. But at Memphis, for my entire life, no matter who's in charge, they can never figure anything out. Even things other universities always figure out. What are the 2 biggest things Memphis has needed in the past 25 years from an athletic department perspective? In my opinion, it's a better conference.
Yes.
And a more appropriately sized on-campus football stadium. If you told me I could snap my fingers and grant 2 wishes to the University of Memphis Athletic Department, those would be the ones. I want an appropriately sized on-campus football stadium, and I want a better conference. Look at the on-campus stadium. rather than try to have some ambition 25 years ago, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, it's always just been a defeatist attitude. For years, you know what they'd say? Can't do it, nowhere to put it. Have you been on campus? Nowhere to put it. All right? You say, man, you need an on-campus football stadium that's appropriately sized. Liberty Bowl's too big, and it's not on campus, and it's not a magnet back to campus. Do you realize my children live 20 minutes from the Memphis campus?
Same.
Their father is a University of Memphis graduate.
Same.
They've never been on that campus,
Same.
and they might never be on that campus because there's no reason for them to be there.
Yep.
That's what an on-campus football stadium does. It's a magnet for the university. It's a magnet for the campus. It brings people like me back and allows us to be proud of this place we spent so much time. People would constantly say, that's what you need. And they'd constantly say, we can't do this. Have you been on campus? Where would we even put it? So then they had an actual ambitious athletic director working in the athletic department, an associate athletic director, Bill Lansdowne. You know what he did? He came up with the plans. He showed them to me. If I still had them, I could show them to you. GP, don't let anybody tell you there ain't room to do this. Would it be complicated? Sure. Would it be difficult? I guess. But we could do it. We'd put it right here. Then people would say, yeah, but then what about parking? Have you ever been to an Ole Miss football game?
There's nowhere to park.
There's nowhere to park.
Right.
People park on the side of the interstate.
There's nowhere to park.
It's not a thing other people worry about. So then they say, okay, fine. I guess Bill Lansdowne blew our cover. There is a place to put it, and parking shouldn't be a reason not to do it. But, like, where are we going to get all this money from? Where are we going to get all this money from to do it? You know what I always said? I don't know, because I've never worked in university fundraising, because I've never tried to fund an on-campus stadium. So I'm telling you, I don't know. But what I would do if I were you is I would call all the other universities around the country that have figured out a way to have on-campus football stadiums and ask them how they did it. Do you understand the majority of Division I football programs have on-campus football stadiums?
Yeah.
How do they do it?
USF's building one right now.
How does everybody? This is what I always tell anybody at Memphis. Ever wanted to challenge me on this? Well, where do you think we get to? I don't know. Figure it out. How does everybody else figure it out?
Right.
The majority of teams you play, you have to go on their campus and play them. The majority of Division I football programs have on-campus stadiums. I don't know exactly how you would do it at Memphis. I just know somehow, some way, basically every other university of Memphis every other university around this country, they figure it out. Why can't you figure it out? And now here we are again. Can't afford an exit fee. How does everybody else afford their exit fees when it's time to move? How? How do they all figure it out? You can't figure out an on-campus stadium. Everybody else does. You can't figure out an exit fee. Everybody else does. Why are you the people that never figure anything out? The most frustrating thing I've heard over the past couple of days is that Memphis just couldn't afford to jump to a new league. I mean, I could show you tweets I've gotten within the past hour. Well, there's no TV deal in place. Do you know how silly that is of a point to make? It's impossible to have a TV deal in place without a league in place. Why is that hard for some people to understand? At some point, you have to take a leap of faith.
That's where I'm at.
If you were sitting there the entire time going, well, if there's no TV deal in place, we can't jump, you were just wasting everybody's time, because there was never going to be a TV deal in place before you had to jump. You have to take a leap of faith at some point. You got to believe in something. That's what Boise State did. It's what San Diego State did. It's what Fresno State did. It's what Colorado State did. It's what Utah State's doing. They're making educated guesses about the futures of their options, the new Pac-12 and the Mountain West. That's what you should have done. Educated guesses about the future of the ACC and the Pac-12. If you're sitting around waiting on a TV deal, there was never any scenario where Pac-12 officials were going to have a TV deal in place before having at least 8 members in place. If that was a prerequisite for you jumping, big waste of time and energy on all of this. What Memphis officials needed to do was study it, examine it, and then take a leap of faith. I talked to television executives over the past week. After doing so, here is what I believe. Not what I know, but what I believe. I believe at some point in the future, Pac-12 members will be getting more per year from a media rights deal than AAC members. And I believe that because the Pac-12 will have better and more attractive members than the AAC. This isn't that complicated. How much more will it be? I don't know. It could be 8 million more a year, or 5 or 3. I don't know. But I'm confident in assuming Pac-12 members will someday make more money than AAC members. And yes, I'm confident in assuming the additional revenue would have offset additional travel costs for the University of Memphis. If you were waiting to have all this in writing, you were never going to be able to go. You had to believe in something the way these other schools are believing in something. So when I hear people say, well, you can't do this without knowing that, well, I can point to at least 5 other universities who have already said, yes, we can. Yes, we can do this without knowing that. Because at some point, you have to take a leap of faith. Jason Munns covers the University of Memphis for the Commercial Appeal. He's great. He's been on here multiple times. I love his work. I read everything he writes. He's one of the best Memphis beat writers that's ever worked there. Smart guy. I respect him immensely. But there is one point he's made over the past week that I just fundamentally disagree with. Friends can disagree. One of the points he's made is that Memphis cannot afford to gamble right now. Right? Like, there's just too much uncertainty with this new Pac-12. You don't know what the TV deal is going to look like. You don't even really know exactly who's going to be in the league. Now's not the time to gamble. You just can't gamble right now. Again, respectfully, I just disagree with that completely. This is exactly the time to gamble. You know when it's time to gamble? When you don't have much to lose. When the situation you're in is already as bad as the situation Memphis is in. What's the worst thing that could have happened if you joined the Pac-12? I asked that from an honest place. What is the worst thing that could have happened if you joined the Pac-12? You end up in a bad league that doesn't end up being what you thought you were getting into? Guess what? I got news for you. You're already in that. You're already in a bad league that isn't what you signed up for. What you signed up for 10 years ago was an all-sports league with Louisville, Cincinnati, UConn, SMU, UCF, Rutgers, some like-minded, similarly ambitious athletic departments. 7 of the 10 are gone. The only 3 left are Memphis, USF, and Temple. Now's not the time to gamble. Buddy, now is the time to gamble.
Yep.
Because if you don't gamble now, guess what you're sitting in?
Mediocrity.
A league that your fans don't care about. A league with no members that have accomplished the things you've accomplished as an athletic department, or even appear to be that interested in trying to accomplish the things you've accomplished as an athletic department. There isn't a single other AAC member that Memphis looks at and thinks they're like us. I know this isn't the SEC or the Big 12 or the ACC or the Big 10, but the new Pac-12 is going to be the best of the others. You had a chance to join it and play football games against Boise State and Washington State and basketball games against San Diego State and maybe Gonzaga. And you passed on that because you're scared to gamble? What do you have to lose? Even if you crap out, what do you have to lose? You'd be in a different bad league? I'd rather roll the dice for the upside, give my fans something to get excited about, something to care about, play comparable athletic departments, be in the best of the others conference. I'd rather gamble on the upside of that than sit here in what I already know it is.
And it's not going to get better.
No.
You're not going to add anybody to the AAC that's going to make it better.
No.
Never.
Honestly, if you're trying to make the AAC better, you'd cut.
Yeah, right.
The way to make it better would be cut from the bottom, not add more junk to the bottom. And there's no good stuff to add. Who you adding?
No. I mean, dude.
It will not get better. It is what it is. I'd rather gamble on the upside of something new than sit here and sit in this, because I can't tell you how many longtime fans, longtime boosters texted me last night, emailed me last night, sent messages on social media last night, and they're just deflated,
Yes,
depressed.
Man.
They're out.
It's very deflating.
I don't buy into a lot of the I'll never buy tickets again stuff.
No.
Because, yes, you will.
No, they're not going to lose me. I'll be there. But I'm worried about the future of the fan base. That's what I'm worried about.
You live in a pro sports city. You're competing with an NBA franchise that is supposed to be good and has real stars. My kids are growing up asking me about John Morant and Desmond Bain. They ain't growing up asking me about anybody on the University of Memphis campus. When I was my young kids' age, all I cared about was the University of Memphis. My kids don't even know it exists, all right? They don't even know it exists. I mean, that's an overstatement, but you get the point. They can't name one player on either team, football or men's basketball, not one. My kids know the Ole Miss quarterback. They know the Colorado quarterback. They don't really know the University of Memphis. They're not growing up loving it the way I grew up loving it, the way you grew up loving it. You're losing those people. And you're recommitting to a league nobody here cares about. You're creating schedules nobody here is interested in. And this is where I do think it might be an issue having a university president who hasn't been here but about 2 years and an athletic director who hadn't been here but about 2 weeks. Both are smart men. They don't know this place like this. I'm sure they can sit down on a spreadsheet and make it make sense to stay in the AAC. But do you understand what you're dealing with here? Have you been here long enough to really have a temperature for things? To understand what you are now asking your fans to do? By ripping away the possibility of something new and better and recommitting to something that isn't new and isn't good, you're making it really, really difficult for your fans to muster any sort of enthusiasm. And that can trickle down into fundraising and every season ticket sales and every other aspect of that athletic department. How much did you consider that? I guarantee you somebody can show me a spreadsheet that says, well, here's why we had to pass on this. But that does not account for the feeling that exists right now among fans, among people who, would much rather be in the Big 12 or the ACC. But if the options, realistic options, are nothing more than the new Pac-12 or the AAC, the overwhelming majority of fans, based on everything I've seen, were ready to go. That's what I would have done. If you end up in the ACC soon or the Big 12 soon, then it will all have worked out. Mm-hmm. But there is no reliable information that suggests that is on the horizon. That is just a dream. And by the way, it is a dream you've been dreaming for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
It might happen. I'm not going to sit here and say there's no way Memphis ever finds itself in one of those leagues. But I will say if the Big 12 wanted you, they'd have probably already done that. Mm-hmm. And if the ACC wants you, it'll probably only come after some of the biggest brands in the ACC leave that league. And if they do that, well, you're not joining Power 4 ACC. Then we're down to a Power 3, Big 10, SEC, Big 12.
And who's to say that ACC is even better than the new Pac-12?
And who's to say that?
You can't guarantee that.
And who's to say they want you?
Right.
It's deflating. I know that they can justify what they did. I still think it was a mistake. At some point, you need something for your fans to be excited about. And Boise State and San Diego State and perhaps Gonzaga and these other schools coming in here will not be as exciting as Big 12 schedules would have been or Big East schedules would have been or ACC schedules could someday be. But it's better than what you got. It's better than what you got. Mm-hmm. The list of athletic departments historically that have declined an opportunity to go from one league to a better league is not that long. Most times when you are given an opportunity to improve your place in the world of college athletics, you take it. Memphis had that shot. I genuinely believe that. They might not believe it. I do believe it. And they passed on it. I hope it's not a mistake that we are still talking about 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. I hope it's not.
I do too.
But it feels like a mistake right now.
Welcome back to the Gary Parrish Show. Bennett Doyle here. Every week we talk to the great Jessica Benson, and it typically goes off the rails. So here's one of those segments now.
Welcome back. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho Set. We got a line forming outside FedEx Forum.
I love it.
I don't know that I would do that for anything.
At this point in my life, I might do it for something free. Like,
I have too many jobs to be doing
if you
silly
told
stuff
me
for free.
I could get Beyonce tickets for free if I sat out overnight. They slept there.
Yeah.
The ones at the front of the line slept there. I went out, I put on my Capital J journalist hat and went out and spoke to the people. Some man on the street interviews this morning.
Right.
One was from Indianapolis.
Sure.
One was from Missouri. They go to all the shows.
Sure.
They are waiting for the posters.
Billy
As part of
Strings
the
is who we're
Billy
jam
talking
Strings,
about.
right.
Sorry,
he's
sorry,
here
sorry.
Tonight and tomorrow night.
Duh. Billy Strings playing 2 nights at FedEx Forum.
Duh, I mean,
I'm
you-
going tonight.
I'm
Can't
going tomorrow
wait.
night.
I can't wait.
Look at Joe.
They want the poster, and they want a good spot in the pit.
Okay.
And so they spent the night. And one of them went to the Grizzlies game last night, but left after the third quarter because he needed to get his spot in line because originally security wouldn't let them start camping out until people were done, like, entering the game, the venue. And so he left after the third, and he was the first person in line. So he should get a poster and a good place in the pit. And the second the concert ends tonight, he will be sprinting out the doors to get back in line to do it again. What a life. I don't
think I love anything that much.
Chris did it at Syracuse for a couple Syracuse basketball games. We didn't do that at USC. We weren't committed enough for that cause.
Yeah. You didn't have to do that at the Galen Center?
No.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of tickets that I
I've
really
done
want
it.
right now.
I did it for 1 versus 2. Memphis versus
you did?
Tennessee here. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have a tent?
No, I didn't have a tent. Well, we got here at 4 a.m. for game day. And so actually, I want to say that maybe I did have a seat for the actual game.
So you
in
got
the
here at
student
4
section.
a.m.
Yeah.
That's different. I got to campus at 4 a.m. for college game day a couple of times.
Yeah. Okay.
And then went to the game.
Good college game day seat.
It's one thing to get up early. It's another thing to sleep in a tent.
Yeah. It's 20 degrees outside of Memphis.
No, that's true. Yeah.
It's freaking cold.
The Beatles could be inside FedEx Forum tonight, all alive, and I'd be like, I'll pay $10,000 for a ticket, but I'm not sleeping in a tent.
Not all of us have $10,000.
Well, I don't mean it like that. I
God,
just-
what an elitist thing to say.
$10. I'll pay the money. That's what I'm trying to say. But I can't sleep in a tent. You know how uncomfortable tents are? And
I'm at the
ground?
point in my life where I just don't want to be uncomfortable.
That's right. Me too. I don't want to be uncomfortable. I don't like to be cold.
I hate being cold.
So these people, you're saying there's General Mission Pit that they're gonna.
I believe
that they're
so,
trying to get a
yes.
front row seat to or whatever. Okay, cool.
They are jamming with the bands, banding with the jams, the jam bands.
The only
I'm
thing
stoked. I can't wait.
The only thing in my adult life, and by my adult life I mean like post 35. I don't feel like I was really an adult until like 35 up. But
okay.
in my
So I'm still not an adult.
You're not there yet.
Oh, that's exciting.
You don't even know it. You don't even know you're not there yet. But you're not there yet.
Okay.
Bethpage Black, the famous course in New York. You know, they don't do. It's
you weren't on camera. You weren't on camera.
It is so wild.
Could have gotten away with it.
I know. Yeah, I
She
wasn't gonna do
literally
that
talks
to you.
into a microphone every day and gets in here and acts like she doesn't know.
Okay, but to be fair, last night on the radio broadcast too, Bennett at one point he goes, "Hey, can you just put that a little bit closer to your mouth?"
It's true. It's true.
You should know how these work. You're not there.
I'm
This is
sorry
what I
for
was trying to tell you
When
about
I'm
being
an
an adult.
adult, I will be
You're
there.
not there yet. This is what I'm trying to tell you. You're not there yet. Adults know how to talk straight into the microphone.
Yes.
You're not there yet. Bethpage Black, you don't get tea times.
Okay.
You have to show up.
That's right.
Right? And I was like, I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to. Because they play Ryder Cups on this course, and it would be an experience. It'd be a story. You know how much I like to tell the same story 40 times. I'd get a new one.
Is that part of being an adult?
Well, here's the thing I have realized about being an adult. You run out of new stories. Like in my early radio career, I had a new story every 2 days.
You were out there living.
I was out there. I don't live anymore. I don't
Now
do
you're just a
anything.
hermit.
I don't have any stories.
Yeah, you're not sleeping on the ground
No.
outside FedEx Forum to wait for a Billy
I used
Strings concert.
to walk in studio and been like, had a great time at Barbecue Fest, slept on a picnic table Saturday night. Those were all real things.
Yeah.
Now my days are exactly the same. Now I'm like, oh, buddy, you ain't going to believe how this 7-year-old baseball tournament went in Tupelo. My stories aren't the same anymore.
Did you ever, in your non-adult days, did you ever run a half marathon or a marathon or any sort of race?
No, I'll drive one. I'll drive a marathon.
I was looking for some advice.
No, I don't have
nervous.
it. Yeah, don't do
I'm
it.
going to
Here's my advice:
Strings.
don't do it.
Yeah,
Who's making you do it? I always hear people
question.
like that. I got friends who like run and swim and climb stuff and whatever, and they're always like,
"Oh, I gotta go do this."
It's like you don't have to go do that.
Yeah.
Well, wait, what's the
Well, at this point, I paid for it, but I could just say my money went to the Sweet Children of St. Jude, which is certainly enough. But then people donated to my run, so I've raised like $500. Now I have to run for the people who donated to my run.
You did this to yourself.
I did, and I have deep regrets.
Yeah.
But I'm going to Billy Strings,
Yeah.
and I'm allowing myself one beer. Do you think that's okay?
Yes.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Don't people
Maybe
do,
2.
Yeah, maybe 2, maybe 4.
burn that thing off in the first mile?
I
It's
think.
not about burning it off. It's about not feeling like a giant POS when I wake up in the morning.
Oh man, you only live
No, you
once or
feel
twice,
great.
depending on who you talk to.
It's going to be cold. Speaking of not enjoying being cold, I don't
Yeah.
even know what to wear right
Why
now.
are you doing this? You know what? When are you doing this?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow's race day.
Okay, good. You know what I'm
Yeah.
gonna be doing tomorrow?
Me and 22,000 people
Yeah. Well, you know what? Me and my kids probably be
sleeping.
doing. I'll be
Or are
like,
you going to another baseball tournament?
no, we're out of that
over,
right
thank
now.
God.
I'm just gonna be warm in my home, relaxing.
Congrats.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
That
it.
sounds lovely.
Not stressed out about it at all.
That sounds I'm stressed out because my Achilles in the cold
Yeah.
gets a little extra tight. It's feeling a little creaky this
Can you
morning.
imagine? Can you
Don't say
imagine?
it.
What?
What are you going to say?
I wasn't gonna say that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not wishing
Can you
ill.
imagine if you tore your other Achilles?
No,
running
I would
a
never
half
say that. I
marathon?
wouldn't put that out into the world.
Don't overcompensate when you're running.
Thank you, Bennett.
Yeah, that's rule number one.
Yeah.
I think that's rule number one. Can you imagine? Like, your life is great.
Mm-hmm.
You walk dogs and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And now you've created this whole stressful
Thing.
thing for yourself. You did this to
True.
yourself.
I
Nobody
did do it
made
to
you do
myself.
this.
Oh, no. I did it to myself. Actually, if you
Why are you
want the
putting
full,
yourself in these uncomfortable
if you want
situations?
the full story, we had a friend. Our dear friend is a runner. He's one of those sickos who enjoys this thing. He keeps telling us, he's like, you're gonna see. You're gonna love it, and then you're gonna. I'm like, no, I'm never running 13 miles again. Thank you. I'm never running 10 miles again. Like, I'll max out at a 10K. I think at this point I could like cruise through a 10K
Sure.
and feel good about it. But honestly, 5Ks. 5Ks are great.
I like
They're
5K.
easy. You get the good little running, get a sweat in. You can even be good at it because now you've done. Once you do 13, 3
I
miles.
was the
is nothing.
MC of a 5K one time.
Of course you were.
I didn't run, but I
walked into the convention center yesterday and I swore it was your voice greeting me. And I was like, Gary?
No,
and
no.
it wasn't you. But I thought you might be it.
But I have been that before.
Okay.
So while everybody else ran, I just drank beers, and then
Yeah,
when
that's a
it
fun thing,
wrapped
too.
up, I was like, "Thanks for coming, everybody. We'll see you next year." I did one of those.
So our friend was going to come.
Yeah.
And so we were going to run with him. He was like, I'm going to come for the St. Jude Marathon specifically. We will run with you. Great. We signed up. And you get that feeling. Someone's about to bail. We're like, have you signed up for the St. Jude Marathon? You know, it sells out.
Right.
Oh, I'll do it next week.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll do it next week. And he bailed on us. He bailed.
Oh,
so now
no.
Chris and I are stuck running this half marathon without the friend.
Did you block his number?
Block.
Right.
Get out of here.
I don't put up with that.
Are you still
Get
taking
outta here.
donations?
Yeah. If anyone
You
wants
gonna
to.
you gonna give out your?
Sure, I don't know how to get there.
Well, I got 10,000. I got
Great. Sorry.
I'll go post it on Instagram.
I got $10,000
again.
laying around. I was just going to spend on Beatles tickets, but
That's true.
maybe I
You
can give it
can
to St.
give it
Jude.
to St. Jude.
Maybe I
That's
just
so
give my
nice.
Beatles tickets
Be
money
nice. That'd be nice.
That's so sweet.
to St. Jude. Hey, let me ask you:
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Am I okay?
I saw you last night on TV.
Yeah.
You're standing very close to a topless man.
Oh my God.
Are you
I
okay?
hate it here.
Are you okay?
Yes.
You were comfortable the whole time?
Yes.
You looked a little uncomfortable.
No, I didn't.
Do you genuinely believe Marcus Smart
Wait,
took
did
his
I look
shirt off?
uncomfortable?
You looked a little, Bennett.
I didn't think
Bennett
so. I
didn't-
thought you were very professional.
You looked a little like.
I'm uncomfortable that you think I looked uncomfortable.
Go back and watch. Will you?
Fine, I'm going right now.
Okay,
I didn't
you-
see
you-
that. I didn't see the uncomfortableness.
Yeah, what are you talking
the
about?
discomfort,
I
I
work
didn't
with
see-
CJ Hurt
I was
every
gonna
day
say
of my
she
life.
literally does a show every day with a dude who's shirtless.
Are you offended that Bennett?
CJ started trying to take off his pants the other day.
See, there we go.
I mean, I just went to the Respect in the Workplace seminar.
Yeah.
I know that's
So
not
did
okay.
he.
I know he.
Allegedly.
He needs to go back. If he thinks it's okay to take his pants off, he's got to go back.
I'm angled in. I'm good. I'm doing my job.
I know you were doing your job.
I'm doing my damn job.
Does it offend you that neither Bennett nor I have ever even thought about taking our shirts off around you? But every other man you work with seems to want
No,
to.
I think that's more about
I appreciate
me.
your respect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
I'm going to respect you in the
shielding
workplace.
me from
I'm going to
One more.
shielding you for this.
I mean, dude.
one more man taking their shirt off. And when the plight of being a woman in the industry, we can't take our shirts off.
Who says? Who says?
Society.
Listen, if I looked like Marcus Smart, I'd do this show without my shirt on every single day.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Do you believe, I'm being serious now.
Yeah.
Do you believe he was motivated by people calling him not skinny?
I don't know, but I hope he was. Because I think that's hysterical.
Yeah.
If you were like,
What's up now?
you idiots who won't shut up about my body, I'm going to take my shirt off in this interview on this giant jumbotron in front of all of y'all after I just played a hell of a game, helped this team get a win that was not by any means guaranteed. I'm going to take my shirt off and show you.
It is hilarious how we talk about professional athletes being fat.
Yes.
When they are never actually fat.
Yes. It's like how we talked about pop stars of the early 2000s. Like, ooh, Britney Spears is looking a little... Like, someone convinced me Lindsay Lohan was fat in Mean Girls. I was like, oh, she's so relatable. I look back, she weighed 105 pounds.
Dude, even the most gigantic NFL offensive lineman looks a million times better than me with a shirt
Yes.
off.
Oh, like Jason Kelsey looks amazing.
They're fit fat.
Right?
They're fit fat.
He's a fat guy. He looks amazing.
Yes.
Right.
They're muscularly fat.
Mm-hmm. Like we're always like people just do a Twitter search for Marcus Smart and fat. It pops up everywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And like I have never, not at one point in my life, not when I was 7, not when I was 17, 27, there's never been a day in my life where I looked as good as Marcus Smart looked last night topless next to you.
Objectively speaking, he looks great.
He looks
shape.
great.
Yeah, looks great, in shape, ready to roll. It's good.
Are you okay?
You know? Yeah, I'm okay.
All right.
It's fine. That was the first walk-off interview of the season where I didn't know who I was getting until topless Marcus Smart was walking up to me. So thinking on the fly there.
Well, you handled it well.
Oh, I so appreciate it.
I thought you handled it well.
You said I looked uncomfortable.
You handled it well while looking uncomfortable. You handled it well. Look at you. Look at you. He's towering over you.
I didn't use my stool.
That's the other thing you forget about basketball players is that
they're all tall.
Yes, even the guards are tall.
Yeah. I know. It's so funny because, we figure out, like, as I'm getting the player, do I need to step on the stool? Right. And the audacity of me to be like, oh, it's Marcus Smart.
Oh, it's just Marcus Smart. I'm fine.
No, I'm fine.
No, there's a photo I have.
I'm 5'3". I'm a little person.
I'll let you describe yourself. I wasn't going to do that.
Thanks. I'm not going to use a slur, but I'm a little person.
You're a little person. There's a picture I have of me and a basketball player.
Okay.
And like 2 other people who look like me. And we'd all played golf together. And at the end, it was like, hey, let's get a picture together so everybody can post it wherever they post stuff. And the basketball player is somebody that I don't even want to name because people be like, oh, there he goes again. So I'm not doing
thank you. So magnanimous of you to not name drop in this casual story.
Like I start telling the story and I'm like, oh, here I go again. And I know other people are thinking the same thing. So I'll leave the name out of it. But anyway, if I were to tell you this person, you'd be like, oh, yeah, little guy, And then if you look at the picture, he looks like a giant next to us just because he's like 6'4", 6'3", or something. But he looks like a giant. Even little basketball players are
yes.
They're big people.
Like, even if I interviewed Yuki Kawamura, I will still look short. Like, that's just...
I don't think that's
If I ever interview Yuki, I should step on the stool and be like, sup.
To look down at him? Take your shirt off.
It is funny, though, because working in the sports space, like, if a player takes their shirt off, I don't think twice about it. In the moment.
Right.
Like, then after, you're like, oh... Because then people make weird comments about it. But in the actual moment of it happening.
Because you've been in locker rooms your whole life.
Exactly.
You're used to seeing people just walk around with no shirts on.
Yes. Forever.
Like, I hope it's clear I'm goofing around. I don't. No. I'm not really asking if you're okay.
No. But my point is, how weird is it that we're all just okay? Like, it would never faze me for a moment. But if there was someone who has not been around sports, what if you took like an alien who has no idea in this world and like. You take Victor Wembanyama and make him a reporter for a day, dropped into Earth, is like, this is going to be your job for one day. They're like, why the hell is this person taking their shirt off in this moment? He just had a jersey. I just saw him with clothes on his body. And now it's not.
Think about this in any other setting.
In any other profession.
Literally any other thing. If you were in that room and Bennett was in this room and you said, hey, Bennett, come here. I got to talk to you for a second. And on his way to talk to you, he took his shirt off.
It's an HR nightmare.
He had his shirt on, but when he comes to talk to you, he takes his shirt off and then says, hey, what's up? I'm here.
Yeah. But then I totally get it, because you want to know the first thing I want to do after I run my half marathon tomorrow? I want to get that sweaty shirt off.
So you know what it's like to be a professional athlete.
Now, my kind has to wear a sports bra.
Sure.
So we don't even get to like fully shed. We still have something sweaty and gross on our bodies.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
I guess. You should fight for your rights. Have you ever thought about fighting for your rights?
Yeah, we just lost an election for that.
Yeah, never mind. Never mind.
Not so fast.
This is not a good time for you to be fighting for your rights.
Not the time.
Let's put that off for about...
I am fine with my rights.
What I'm saying.
Don't come for me.
2028, you should start thinking about fighting for your rights again.
All right.
Let's give it.
I'll dip a toe in the water.
Let's give it 4 years. See if you can. I hope you make it to the other side. but eventually, you're gonna need to fight for your rights again.
Okay.
You got to get your rights back. I really do think he just wanted to show the world he's not fat. I really do think that was the. I really do think that was the deal.
He just had a sweaty jersey. He played his ass off.
He plays his Marcus Smart has never not had a sweaty jersey at the end of a basketball game, right?
And no one who played significant minutes has never not had a sweaty jersey, unless you have a sweat condition.
He wanted the FanDuel Sports Network to know that I am not chubby. I am not chubby like you people are telling me. We do this with basketball players. We do it with Zion. We're constantly.
I'm not calling Marcus Smart Zion.
I know, but like, if you ever actually if Zion was just at the mall.
Oh, he's a unit.
But he's not fat.
No.
Like I am.
No, that's my point. Like, he's big, but he's a unit.
Right.
Yeah. We do this. It's weird. And as a woman, as the only woman on Groton City Media airwaves, I hate that we do it, period. Like, women are more attuned to the effects of calling someone fat or being called fat or like dealing with body image issues. And we just so flippantly, and a lot of men just so flippantly throw it around for athletes. And like, it's gotta hurt.
Of course it does.
No one wants to be called fat. And we just are like, ha ha ha.
Oh, I could be on TV and say the best thing I've ever said.
And someone calls you fat, the only thing you're thinking about for the rest of the day.
And that's a real thing that happens.
Yeah.
It happened to Erin Andrews the other day. Did you see this?
No.
She was on whatever game she was on, and somebody tweeted.
Why did I just say that like she died? No. Someone.
That was a serious response.
Erin Andrews is alive. Erin Andrews is wonderful. All right, she's wonderful.
Yeah.
Anyway, somebody's just watching a football game, and they decide to tweet and tag Erin Andrews, and it just says something along the lines of, Erin Andrews has gotten so old you can now see the wrinkles in her face. It's time for Fox to hire a younger up-and-comer, right? This is Erin Andrews, by any standard, a beautiful woman.
Right.
And she's taking shit.
And a beautiful woman just doing her job.
And here's the other thing. It's like, and this is what you guys really have to deal with, you guys.
Please tell me what us guys have to deal with.
Nobody cares if I'm wrinkled on TV, right? Who looks older, me or Erin Andrews? But I've been called a lot of things on social media.
Right.
People don't comment on my wrinkles.
No,
but Erin Andrews has to.
Right. The only way age is going to play a part is if you get to the point where you're like Al Michaels or Bob Costas, and you just don't have the enthusiasm for the game anymore, which is fair.
Of course.
No one's talking about Lee Corso's wrinkles on
That's exactly
College Game Day.
Right. I mean, I do. I
I
actually do talk about Lee Corso's.
I wish every old person had the chance to just, if they want to work, let them work until it ends. We're so mean to old people. We just put them out to pasture. We never want to see them, never want to look at them, never want to talk about aging. This is like one of my hottest takes. I have no issue with Lee Corso still being on College Game Day. Even when it makes me uncomfortable, I force myself to sit in the discomfort and be like, you know what, if he still wants to be doing this, if this brings him some joy at this point in his life, good for him.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Everyone else hates
it. I know.
I am definitely in the minority.
Like if Lee Corso were my father, I would wrap my arms around him and say, Dad, we can't do this anymore. Like, you can't do.
If Lee Corso was my father, I would try my best to remain supportive and make it as comfortable of an experience as possible. And when Timothée Chalamet is the celebrity guest picker, I would make sure he says nothing.
I don't care how old somebody is or even what they look like on television, but it gets to a place where you can either do the job or you can't.
Right.
And
but they're not asking him to do. This is my thing.
They're asking him to speak on television, and he can't do that anymore.
And I mean that in the nicest way possible. They're asking him to put the helmet on, and yes, words are associated with it because it is a talking sports program.
Right.
And that's where it gets a little dicey.
Yeah. It's just uncomfortable for me.
I know. It's aging is uncomfortable for me. I struggle with it. I have older parents. So I really put myself in this world where I'm like, oh my God, I am less years away from that than I've ever been.
Well, we all are.
I know that was a bad way to put that, but than most of my peers,
right.
I am closer to having to deal with that, and it's really hard.
Oh yeah,
it's really, really hard.
Yeah, if you're lucky enough to live long enough, you will be diminished.
Yes.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. I honestly, the Lee
Corso. It's not as tough
thing,
as interviewing someone without their shirt on, but it's tough. It's
up there. The Lee Corso thing honestly reminds me. I don't watch President Biden's speeches.
Oh God, no.
Because they make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's a diminished man who can't speak clearly and create concise thoughts. And I don't like seeing it. I've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I think this reflects poorly on me, so I don't even know why I'm saying it. But even as like both my grandmothers aged, and they both struggled with memory loss, and it got really uncomfortable. And I don't know that it's a regret because I don't, but like I know this is true. I didn't spend as much time with them as I probably should have, or as you might have. But it wasn't because I'm selfish with my time or anything like that. I got genuinely uncomfortable. I didn't like it. I didn't like it being around it.
My first market was the Tri-Cities, Washington. I was an hour and a half away from my Nana, who was my closest grandparent and my longest living grandparent. And she was in a nursing home in Spokane, and I was in the Tri-Cities. And I think I went twice.
Yeah.
And I have regrets on that.
Yeah.
But I couldn't, the relationship that I was used to having with her wasn't there anymore.
Right.
We weren't having the talks. We weren't baking cookies. We weren't playing spades together. We weren't even just sitting and watching a Mariners game. I just couldn't really grasp. And I was so much younger at that time, too. I would hope that I would be better about it now. But damn, it was not something I was proud of either. So I think that's a very common experience.
Yeah, like I don't think I was friends with, but friendly with somebody who actually worked at the assisted living facility where my grandmother spent her final years, and I would see this person every once in a while. They're like, "You got to come sit," and I was like,
"Yeah."
And it was just genuinely like, I don't like it. It's not fun for me. She doesn't really even know who I am.
Right.
And when we start talking, she would always, and this is just, memory loss. People.
Right.
This is, I think, most families unfortunately have stories like this now, but. If she were to ask, she would ask me about my high school girlfriend, but not my wife.
My Nana would ask me about my mom, who would be my dad's second wife.
There you go.
And I was like, I don't love this, Nana.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
But that's not her fault.
No.
And then when I moved to Memphis, I was so far away, and then it's just on the phone, and it's even harder to have those conversations on the phone. So it's a tough thing. Chris was so good with his grandmother. She
Some
lived
people
in Florida,
really are good with
and
it.
he would go down there and spend a week to a couple weeks with her every year. And she sometimes would forget who he was, but he would go through the process of it. And I was always really, I was so admiring of how he handled it versus me at times.
No, I wish I were more like your husband. Like I wish I was better with that, but I just couldn't.
I would do it with Lee Corso.
I can't even watch him on TV. That's the thing I'm trying to tell you.
I know.
Like my condition is so strong
myself.
I turn the television off.
That's how I got with Biden's speeches.
Yeah.
And I would try. I'm like, today is the day I watched. I think it was after the debate. I was like, I cannot do this again.
Like if President Biden were giving a speech today and I happened to have my television on and they were like, and we're going live to Washington now, President Biden about to speak, I would change the channel because I'm uncomfortable watching him attempt to do what he used to could do well, but can't do anymore.
Wasn't it Warren Beatty who did the mishandle of the Oscars?
Yes, he said that
La La Land won,
and it was actually
Moonlight.
Yeah,
like even in those moments, I'm like, oh my God, and I'm suddenly starting to realize that like my favorite celebrities are going to get to that point too. Like Jane Fonda, there's this clip recently of her just like eviscerating Bill Maher, and I'm like, yeah, Jane Fonda, like get him. You're in your upper 70s. She might be 80 at this point, but there's going to be a day where Jane Fonda can't go toe to toe anymore, and that hurts. That hurts me.
Wait, Speaking of College Game Day and celebrities,
Yeah.
I thought that someone in the chat was joking. Timothy Chalamet is the guest picker on College Game. Wait.
Yeah, the reason I didn't respond to it is I was unaware of that information.
I thought that was like
Timothy
a joke.
Chalamet is the celebrity guest picker for College Game Day.
What?
Lisan Al Gaib.
That's pretty cool.
It's maybe their biggest celebrity guest picker in years. From a standpoint of like most universally famous person and someone who is at the peak of their career, that's pretty high. I know he's trying to promote the Bob Dylan movie that he's in. Bob Dylan gave his stamp. He said he did a good job.
I saw it. It was pretty cool.
They just did a Timothy Chalamet lookalike contest. That was a whole story. Now we're getting a lookalike contest.
Is he still dating Kylie?
I don't
know.
So.
I haven't seen the two of them together.
I don't think so.
The big breakup was a reported breakup this week was Barry
and Sabrina Carpenter.
Ouch.
They say he
please,
might.
please,
I like
don't
both of
prove
those.
They said he might have cheated.
What an idiot.
Oh, that would hurt.
I don't know. Did you see the woman he might have cheated with?
No, I didn't.
Well, you should. Before you start calling him an idiot, you might need to Google that. Okay? You might need to check out her Instagram.
Wait, I think they're still together.
Kylie and Timothy.
Kylie and Timmy?
Yeah, although this something says that there's red flags.
Yeah, of course, there's red flags. There's always red flags.
Yeah.
Oh, she kind of looks like Sabrina Carpenter.
So what? Like, maybe he just got confused. Is it possible my buddy just got confused?
Like Lee Corso?
Yes. This guy just got confused.
I hate it here.
The guy maybe he just got a little confused. Sabrina Carpenter, though. Might be a fumble. It might be a fumble. I'll give you that.
Yeah, it is.
I really like Sabrina Carpenter. I say this. I have no idea. Sabrina Carpenter, who knows how she is in real life? I have no clue. I'm like, she seems like a cool girl because of the meticulously calculated image that she and her PR team have come up with.
She's one of the few who can play both sides.
Jane Fonda will turn 87 on December 21st.
How about that?
Oh, no.
How about that? Sabrina Carpenter is one of the few people who can play both sides. She can go open up for Taylor Swift and then do a Skims ad, and everything's cool. She can do both sides. She can do everything. She did that. She opens for Taylor Swift and she does a Skims ad. She can be with Kim and with Taylor, and everybody's happy with it.
Okay.
That's a real skill. You don't think that's a skill?
I guess.
These people hate each other, but they both like me.
Yeah.
That's a skill.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other people like that.
Not Drake.
Certainly not Drake.
Certainly not Drake.
Certainly not.
All right, I'm sure you got dogs to walk.
I do.
Hey.
Got dogs to walk, and I've got some pre-half marathon acupuncture. How about that?
Where do you get that done at?
Oh, the coolest place in Memphis, Dr. Lee's office.
Where is that?
It's on Highland, like right off Highland and Poplar.
All right.
A little bit down. Yeah, I love it. I've been going for weeks.
Does acupuncture mean what I think it means?
Needles. They just stick me with needles.
Does it work?
I think so.
Bennett, what do you think about that?
It makes me a little queasy, but
Bennett says he's a little queasy.
I'm willing to give it a shot.
The first time I had an absolute anxiety attack because they put all these needles in you and then they leave you in a room and they crank the heat up. They're like, you need heat. So they'll turn it up to like 90 degrees and then you're in there sweating with needles in you and you can't move.
What does it feel like? I mean, not the needles, but like how do you feel like after?
Balanced.
Oh.
I'm asking this from
I'm
honest
dead
place
serious.
because I don't know. I'm asking this from honest place. How do needles make you feel more balanced?
It's all about different points in your body that like balance, I don't know, your vitals, your organs, everything. It's really good for your liver, for your digestive system. I just think that, so I went back to acupuncture. I did a little bout of acupuncture in 2019. Then I started having this like weird back pain. That's for anyone who saw my great colonoscopy video. That was part of the reason why I went and got I know, just dropping the colonoscopy terms here on the show. But I was trying to treat this back pain. And so I did some like physical therapy, but then they also recommended acupuncture. And so I don't know if it was just the physical therapy or if it was also the acupuncture or if it was just the acupuncture and not the physical therapy. I don't have back pain anymore. So it's all gone away.
Hey, let's give the needles credit.
I like going, but it's a rich person activity. I don't have enough money to go regularly. I go like once every 2 weeks.
There's always another dog to walk.
I'm going walking 2 right now.
It's so cold.
It's the worst time to walk dogs. Actually, I have 3. We have 1 staying with us, and then I go walk my regulars.
It's a wild life you're living.
Woof, woof.
That's Jessica Benson, host of the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. She'll be back in studio Monday. 8 o'clock. I'll see you later, all right?
I'll see you Monday.
Good luck in your marathon.
It's a half, but thank you.
Yeah, but I consider it a full.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's a full to me. It's
In
a
your
full to
heart?
me. In my heart, it's a full.
Thank you.
Enjoy your marathon, whatever distance it might be.
Thank you.
Hey, Thursday night football was a blast last
Yeah.
night. You've been coughing for 2 years. Do you know that? Do you know that about yourself?
The acupuncture is working on it.
You are constantly coughing.
I don't know if you know this. I lost my voice. I still have not fully gotten my voice back from
But
the
this
whole
has been going on for a
laryngitis
while.
situation.
You might need to,
I've got a cough.
I think maybe instead of going and
I've
see
gone to all the doctors. There's nothing
your
wrong
little
with
voodoo
me.
doctor, instead of going to see your little voodoo doctor,
Don't tease your next segment.
maybe you should go to an actual
dogs to
doctor
walk.
and see why you can't stop coughing.
I've got dogs to walk and coughs to cough. Let me go.
All right.
Welcome back to the Gary Parrish Show. Hope you're having a great holiday break. Bennett Doyle here, and every day we do 5 more things on this show. We put together some of our favorite stories from 5 things over the past year. Here's that now.
Number 4.
A small town in Alabama is under fire.
Uh-oh.
They've painted their water tower, and they chose a color pattern that don't sit so well in the state of Alabama, especially after the Crimson Tide went to Knoxville this year already and lost. Just weeks after the Alabama Crimson Tide go to Knoxville and lose to the Vols, some people woke up about 40 miles outside of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, in the state of Alabama, and they saw their new water tower. Show us what it looks like.
Oh, come on, guys. Can't do that.
What are we doing?
Should bring that trash to Bama.
What are we doing? They painted it Rocky Top.
You can't do
It's
that.
the checkered end zone in a small town Alabama water tower.
Someone's going to destroy their water supply. Like,
They're
you
gonna-
got to be careful. You already had the guy that poisoned all the damn trees.
If we've already got one dude who will poison all of Auburn's trees, what do you think they'll do to this thing?
Yeah, man.
You gonna mess around and not have water?
Somebody get a bucket of paint and go fix this.
How does this happen?
Oh, it's... Well, okay, do we assume it's Vols? I mean, it's the checkered board. Like, it's got to be Vols fans.
They say
like
they
just coincidence?
I mean, obviously, there's been a million complaints already. Like, this is a
Of course.
in this town. This is the thing they're arguing about today. They're done with the border. Okay,
Yeah, dude.
In this small town, Alabama, the border has now gone to the back burner. Inflation is now on the back burner. Suddenly, they don't care nothing about transgender.
Nah, man, their lives are church and Bama.
Now they're like, all right, we'll get back to the transgender southern border inflation problems later. All right. But now we got a new one, and it's this checkered, orange and white checkered water tower in small town Alabama. People are going crazy. And the folks in charge of it, they said, it's a coincidence. We didn't think it was we didn't know nothing. And this is exactly like what we talk about all the time. There's got to be somebody in every room where big decisions are made, where you say, hey, just take a look at this. Tell me what you think. And somebody should immediately look at that and do the exact same thing everybody seemed to do yesterday when it went viral.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot, in the state of Alabama, paint as stupid as this must seem to some people, you just can't, in the state of Alabama, paint your water tower to look like the Tennessee Vols.
You can't do it.
Could you even do that in Memphis?
Oh, I think you'd catch some.
You would
100%.
You would 100% catch flack though. If there was a big water tower in downtown Memphis painted like that, people would go crazy. You can put tigers all over the city and people won't go crazy. Mm-hmm. If you put that water tower in downtown Memphis, people go crazy. In downtown Memphis, ain't even small town Alabama. We are in Tennessee, much as we'd like to not be sometimes.
And I hate those colors as much as anybody. But you know what? I think we are in the state of Tennessee. I think Vols fans are able to. I think Vols fans should be allowed to have a peaceful existence in this city. I do. I used to not feel that way, and I'm trying to change my ways.
That's rich coming from a Capitol stormer. Now you just want peace.
I'm just trying. Yeah, I'm trying to change my ways.
Let you win one election, and now you want peace.
Change my ways.
Now you want peace.
Yeah.
Where was your peace 4 years ago?
Yeah. We need to. What Joe say? We need to take the temperature down. We need to take the temperature down. Let's take down the temperature.
That's crazy.
That's insane. Yeah, you can't do that.
There's got to be somebody in every room who just says, "Oh no, I don't know how we got to this point, but like you guys know we can't do this." Like they could have showed me that. I'm not even from Alabama, and somebody could have just emailed me that and be like, "Hey, GP, I know you got opinions on things. we're in small town Alabama. What do you think about this? I'd say, are you?
That's Rocky Top, bro.
That's Rocky Top, bro. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Are you this
Lost your
You're
mind?
going. You ready? Go paint it that way. You ready? In a week, you're gonna have to paint it again.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the penis court they tried to do in FedEx Forum.
It's very similar.
It's similar. Somebody should have recognized the penis on the court and said, we can't put a penis on our court.
Right.
Instead, they had to put it out there for the world to see. I'm the one that had to say, you got a penis on your court, and then they painted it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I could have spotted the penis on the court. I did spot it immediately.
Yeah.
I'm good at that. And I would have done this one too. I could have spotted this. I could have told them this was a problem within seconds.
Yeah.
They didn't ask. I don't think people ask me enough
I don't think so.
for
either,
approval.
GP.
I
don't
think I need
so
to be
either,
asked for
GP.
approval a little more than I am because I could have put a stop to this. I would have nicked this in the bud.
Yeah. Fix it.
1 month from today, that water tower will not look like that. You agree?
1 week from today.
1 hour from now.
Dude, people are going to start shooting at that thing.
They really will.
Yes.
Like a drunk Alabama fan.
I'm telling you.
You're one more Alabama loss away from that water tower getting shot up.
Let them lose this weekend. Let them lose this weekend and see what happens.
Let
I don't know if they're even playing this
Alabama
weekend.
miss the playoff and Tennessee get in, and that water tower going to be Swiss cheese.
Somebody needs to get a bucket of paint
Swiss
now.
cheese. That water tower going to get shot up, buddy. You let Tennessee make the playoff and Alabama miss it.
Yep.
Water tower's in jeopardy. That water tower better get a bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
Number 3.
We got a new Dear Jane.
What's going on?
Well, not life or death. I don't think it's life or death. We've had more serious Dear Janes, if that's what you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
But, all problems are problems, big or small. I don't subscribe to the idea that if your problems aren't big, they're not problems. Problems come in all sizes. Small problems can be aggravating as well. This is a couple. They got a small problem. I'll read it to you. You ready? Mm-hmm. Comes from a woman. This is a woman writing Jane. She said, Dear Jane, my boyfriend and I have been together for almost a year, and we just went on our first vacation to Europe.
Okay.
Up until the trip, I believed he was perfect. I found him so attractive and thought he was hilarious, smart, and kind. But one thing he recently did totally put me off. It all started on our long-haul flight from the United States to London.
Okay.
Mere minutes into the flight, he took his shoes and socks off and remained barefoot for the entirety of the 8-hour flight. His feet smelt bad, and it honestly just grossed me out to see his hairy toes in such a public place. But I kept my mouth shut because everyone has different preferences when it comes to long flights. After a week in London, we flew to Paris. And the flight was 1 hour long, and yet, for some reason, he felt the need to take his shoes and socks off yet again. He did this on every single flight we took across Europe, and after I questioned him about it, he said it's because his feet get sweaty and claustrophobic. Vomit. I know my feelings may seem like an overreaction, but ever since I have not been attracted to him, which is shocking because I used to be obsessed with him. It seems so silly to throw away our entire relationship because of this. Is there anything I can do to recover from the ick? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, sweaty feet.
Feel his feet.
I just think that you got to let your feet just, like, if I was sitting next to someone on a plane, first off, and they took their shoes and socks off, I would be like, could you not do that?
Would you actually say something?
Yes. I might. Yeah.
Do you say something to people on planes? Because here's the thing.
No, I don't talk to people on planes.
No, but would you ever speak up?
Oh, yeah.
I never do. And I don't always want to, but I always think I'm like,
dude, if someone took their shoes and socks off next to me, I would be like, could you not do that?
I don't say anything to anybody. And I get like,
because what are they going to do? Like, they're not going to, what are they going to do?
I mean, I see some outrageous things on planes. Like, you sit down beside Buddy and he's got his phone, he's watching a movie and he's just no headphones. He's just watching it loud as can be.
That's outrageous.
Outrageous. And I just look, I'll do one of these like, like,
yeah, when we talk about like the decline of civilization, that is one of the first things I point to is all of these idiots that walk around listening to their phones without headphones. Like, what's wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, who raised you?
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Who raised you?
Put your headphones in. They're cheap. Get a pair of headphones.
They'll hand them to you.
They have Bluetooths in them.
They'll hand them to you on the plane. They'll just hand them to you.
Yeah, dude.
You can't do that.
That's out of bounds. You
Out of
cannot
bounds.
do that.
We agree then. There are things on a plane you cannot do. And one of them should be bare feet on the plane. What about a woman in a sandal? A nice foot. A nice pretty foot. painted and everything. How you feel about that? Not the same.
Yeah, I mean,
that.
I like sandals. Like, I think sandals is fine. I think.
Why are you okay with a woman's foot but not a man's foot? You just told me if a man sat down beside you, took his shoes off, socks off, you'd say, "What are you doing?" Woman does. You don't say a word. Why?
I might say a word.
You would say a word to a woman.
I think like it's more about the optics. Like, who do you think you are?
Who do you
like
think
if you're
you are?
wearing I get it. You're wearing sandals. It's like the same thing. Your foot's still bare and stinky out in front of everybody, but if you just like take your shoes and socks off, you're like acting like you own the place. We all paid for these plane tickets.
We all paid for these.
Yeah, we all deserve to like feel comfortable in our seats, and you're over here just acting like you're like at your house. Like, come on, put your shoes on.
Put your shoes back on. I, as a million miler, Bennett, spent a lot of time up there in planes, and I will admit to something I'm not proud of. I'm going to admit to something I'm not proud of. I have not always been perfect. Okay.
What'd you do?
I used to fly in flip-flops.
I think that's fine.
I don't. Not at this age. It's something I thought was fine when I was younger and didn't know better. But as I've...
it's kind of... like, I wouldn't want to. It's kind of gross.
It's definitely gross.
Yeah. I mean, there's germs on planes. Like, there just is. You're in this little compact plane with a bunch of people that goes a million different places
and
a day.
Before TSA, I would have to... Before, like, TSA pre-check, I would have to go through normal security like a normal person, like a peasant. They treat me almost like a peasant. And I'd have to take my flip-flops off and put them through the machine, and then I'm just standing barefoot in the middle of Memphis International.
Gross. That's gross.
It is gross, right?
Yeah, that's
But
sick.
I didn't know any better, Bennett.
Yeah.
You have to understand sometimes we're just, byproducts of I didn't know anybody. Nobody taught me that. I didn't know stuff.
Right.
You know? I didn't know any better. But now I know better. I teach my kids differently. If I ever saw one of my kids trying to get on a plane with flip-flops on, I'd punch them in the face. Right? I think it's completely out of bounds to take your shoes and socks off on a plane. That is outrageous. If try different socks.
Yeah.
Do something.
I mean,
but you can't take your socks and shoes off on a plane. Beyond that,
yeah.
You also can't end a good relationship over this.
I think actually what she should do, what she should have done, if you want to test the longevity of your relationship and is this going to work out or not, you just say, "Hey, could you not take your shoes off on the plane? I kind of don't like that. It's weird to me."
Well, no,
like talk it out.
Yeah, but you don't even have to say it like it's weird to me. You have to say, "Hey, listen, I know you've explained to me you got a sweaty feet issue, and I got my own stuff, and so like it's fine. Like I love you, but you might not know, and I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm just telling you because you need to know." Everybody hates you when you do that.
Yeah. Your feet need to stink inside your shoes.
That's right. Your feet stink.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't want to tell you, but they do. And even if they didn't, even if you had the best smelling feet in the world and you don't, your feet stink.
Yeah.
But even if they were the best, you can't take your socks and shoes off on a plane. It makes everybody uncomfortable. It's just a bad look. It's like walking into a steakhouse with no shirt on.
Yeah, that nasty ass foot sweat is evaporating and becoming airborne in my airspace in the plane.
And so, like, listen,
I'm breathing in your foot sweat.
I love you, so I'm willing to deal with this. But everybody else on the plane doesn't love you. They don't even know you. And you are, when they get off the plane, you're the person they're talking about.
That's right.
They're saying, you wouldn't believe this idiot on the plane took his socks and shoes off and he was stinking the whole time. So we gotta fix that. You can't do that no more. And then if my partner, what your partner should do is thank you for opening their eyes. But if there's some pushback, then we might have some real problems.
Yeah.
But there shouldn't be pushback. If you otherwise have a good relationship, that should not be the deal breaker. This should be an easy workaround. How often are you even flying together anyway?
Right.
If you can't get over this one, you can't get over nothing.
No.
Any relationship's going to be about compromises, right?
I agree.
Yeah, like there's things you hate about your wife. Name them.
No, I don't
Give me
want
three,
to.
just three. The three things that she does that drive you crazy. I can tell you something.
This is I think a universal one. When she asks me to do something and I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And then she gets mad that I don't like jump up and do it right then, like the moment she says it.
Oh, that happens in our house all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, you would tell you
That's
how,
a big one.
You would tell you how ours work?
Yeah.
Hey, Kelly, I need the login and the passcode for this thing that I have to get in and do this thing. 10 days will pass. Nothing. Hey, remember I need that login and that passcode. 10 days will pass. Nothing. I'm not exaggerating. This is a conversation we've been having for 6 months. All right? I still, at this moment, don't have it. But if she says, hey, I'm going to Dallas next week, can you book me that Marriott downtown? And I say, yes, I'll do it. She will call me back in 30 minutes and ask if I did it. Mm-hmm. But if I call her back and ask, hey, did you ever get it? It'd be like, I'm busy. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
Why do you think if I tell you I'll do something for you, I got to do it right then? But if you tell me you do something for me, it could be down the road or never.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Seems unbalanced and unfair.
I don't know. That does seem unbalanced.
Sounds like we're going through the same thing, Bennett. Mm-hmm. What's the next one? What's the next one you hate about your wife?
I think this is another universe one, and I don't know why this becomes a thing in marriage, but it just does. What do you want for dinner? I don't know. Okay, we're not eating anything.
I've given up. I don't ask any extra questions anymore. I'm done with it. I don't ask any extra questions.
Yeah, that's the one. That one, I don't know. And I guarantee you, like everybody that's married out there, for some reason, when you get married, you just fight over what's for dinner. It's just it's the stupidest thing ever, but it's a part of every marriage.
I'm stopping by Wendy's. Do you want anything? I don't know. Okay. What? Well, I don't know either. So I'll order for me then, and if you change your mind, let me know. Uh-huh. I'm not asking him. I'm not playing these games anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have to beg you to get something from Wendy's for you.
Yeah.
Do you want a single with cheese or not? Mm-hmm. Don't make me beg you to eat.
Yeah.
Everything's too many words, man. I don't need to say all this stuff. Here's the one that drives me crazy. This one. Hey, what are you doing? I'm just driving home. Well, hey, if you stop by Walgreens, can you pick up? I will drive straight home. Mm-hmm. Pull right into the driveway. He said, hey, did you go by Walgreens? No. Well, I told you. You said if I stop by Walgreens to get milk. Mm-hmm. I didn't stop by Walgreens. If you want me to get you milk, ask me to get you milk.
Yeah, be direct.
Say, please get me milk from Walgreens. Don't passive aggressive like... Hey, if you happen to stop by Walgreens and you got a minute and you got an extra credit card laying around, no, we're done.
Yeah.
Don't start it with an if. If you want me to go to Walgreens, you got to tell me to go to Walgreens.
Right.
Because if you put it as if you stop by Walgreens, I'm not stopping by Walgreens. Mm-mm. So I stopped listening after that. Oh, I got a bunch of them, Bennett.
I mean, the rest of them are probably all my fault. So, but those were the two that immediately popped into my head.
But here's the point: these are all things you can get over and get around, right? You have to. Mm-hmm. You always every relationship you're gonna have your little things you got to work around, right? I ain't saying I'm the best at it or even good. I just understand that.
Yeah.
And so if I'm this couple, we're working through this.
Yeah.
We're not gonna love each other and be attracted to each other, but then not be together because we have different flying habits. We're gonna work on our flying habits, and she's gonna help him do better. She's gonna help this man do better. I wish I'd have had somebody from me, 30 years ago to help me do better. He's lucky he's got this woman, and I think they can live happily ever after if he just keep his socks and shoes on.
Number 3.
Jessica Chastain's in a social media war with JetBlue.
I don't even need the details.
Your team, Chastain, no matter what.
I stand with Jessica in this. One of my favorite actors in the world.
I get a little confused with Jessica Chastain sometimes.
Okay.
Because there's that other movie. Mm-hmm. There's another actress that looks
Bryce
just like
Dallas
her.
Howard.
There's another actress that looks just like her.
Ron Howard's daughter.
But she's not her. Is that who it is?
Yes, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Let me make sure.
It's like that you're not. That's people. That's a thing.
Is she in like that tornado movie or no Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Okay,
that's her.
The woman in Jurassic Park looks just like Jessica Chastain. You're telling me that's Bryce Dallas Howard?
Correct.
I get a little confused sometimes. I like them both though.
I think they're both great. Yes.
How you feel about a redhead, Bennett? How you feel about red hair?
Great.
I like it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Do you enjoy red hair?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I appreciate her acting credentials a little bit more than her red hair.
What about her mane? Do you approve of her mane?
Listen, let me tell you something. She is one of my favorites for a reason, all right?
What is the reason? Give me 3 reasons.
I think she's like one of the best actors in the world.
Okay.
And she's beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got one more reason? That's only 2. I wanted 3. Give me 3 reasons why you love Jessica Chastain. She's an amazing actor. She's beautiful. And what else?
And she don't take no shit, apparently.
Okay.
That's yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you what happened. She's on a JetBlue flight.
Okay.
Right? 6-hour flight, she says. And you know how you can... You need internet?
Yeah.
You can pay for it. It's $15.
Okay.
So she said, sure. I'm an acclaimed actress. I probably got $15 to spare on in-flight entertainment. So she spent $15 on in-flight entertainment, JetBlue. And apparently it didn't work so well, because life's not perfect.
The internet didn't work.
Right.
Well, okay.
So she jumps on, Jessica Chastain, she jumps on Twitter, and she says, I'm just going to quote her, "Thank you, JetBlue, for your $15 credit. My flight was $1,500, and the credit is 1/100th of the money I paid you. Strange that I paid that for your flight entertainment system that didn't work for the duration of my 6-hour flight, but I guess it was worth it for a $15 credit." Now, I know you say you don't need you hear the details, but I just gave them to you. And what you just heard, what you're looking at right there is Jessica Chastain. She is fired up at JetBlue, and she thinks she deserves something more than the $15 credit for her in-flight entertainment not working. Are you sure you're Team Jessica Chastain? What does she expect JetBlue to do? What is JetBlue supposed to do? Bennett Doyle, you're on a flight. You pay $15 for in-flight entertainment. It doesn't work. They refund your money. What else are we supposed to do?
Okay, the funny thing about this is I had an idea of what was going on here, and for some reason I was thinking that it was like something was wrong with the flight, and so that they should have refunded her $1,500.
No, she just couldn't watch Succession on a stream.
Okay, fair enough.
Like if I were sitting with Jessica Chastain, I'd say, I really like your hair. I'd say that first.
Okay.
And then I would say, what did you want them to do exactly? What did you want them to do? It didn't work. They gave you your money back. What did you want them to do?
Okay. And listen, I know you're a loyal Delta guy and everything. You have great flight experiences, okay? But the majority of us don't, all right?
Are you ready for this? In-flight entertainment is hit or miss, always. Wi-Fi on planes is always hit or miss. I have a monthly subscription to Delta. I have Delta Wi-Fi all the time.
I think there needs to be a bigger discussion here. And the bigger discussion is these airlines are getting away with taking advantage of their customers.
I would ask this, how did they take advantage of her? They offered her in-flight entertainment for $15, just like they offered every other passenger. She said, I'll do that. And then it didn't work because sometimes things don't work. And they didn't fight with her. They refunded her and said, we're sorry. What else were they supposed to do?
I think good customer service would say you need to, besides just giving the refund, you need to add a little incentive there.
Meaning what?
Maybe some frequent flyer miles or something of that nature, like something that she can use later down the line. And again, I'm not she's going to be fine. I get it. It's a rich person arguing about this kind of thing. Why do you care? Whatever. I respect her fighting for the people.
Do you ever see somebody complaining online at a company and go, what do you think when you see that? It never accomplishes what I think the person thinks it's accomplishing. I had an airline lose my entire golf clubs and on a golf trip, and then bring me my golf clubs, except they weren't my golf clubs, and then had to come back and get those golf clubs, and then it took 3 days, and I never mentioned it on social media because I didn't feel like what. I had this moment. I was incredibly frustrated. I spent a lot of money and a lot of time, and now I can't do what I've planned to do because this airline lost my golf clubs. I was frustrated, I think understandably so, but in a world where, people are dealing with real stuff, how does it play if I'm complaining? Imagine I tweet this. How does this play? In a world where, people are really struggling, and I do this. Thanks a lot, Delta. My golf clubs still aren't in Spain. So now I'm just sitting at this 5-star resort wondering what's going on. Who cares? Shut up.
I just think it's different when it comes to airlines, man, because most companies that are involved with some sort of customer service a lot of them, not all, a lot, go out of their ways to make the customer happy, correct bad experiences, things like that. Airlines just don't, and they don't have to. I get it. We're at the mercy of the airlines, but they just don't. They do the worst customer service It's airlines.
I've argued with
It's
airlines. I will argue with an airline, but I won't do it publicly. I just don't know that it ever.
Yeah, I get that. I don't do that either.
But like Vance is in the chat. He says like, you need to do it publicly because they need to be held accountable publicly. So maybe what Jessica Chastain would tell you is that I'm not fighting for me. I don't need these $15.
See, that's where I'm at with this.
I'm fighting for you.
Yes.
I'm fighting for the people who can't.
I'm fighting for the people.
Imagine you book a 6-hour flight on JetBlue, and you've got a lot of work to do. And you book it in part because they say, we have Wi-Fi available for $15. You say, okay, cool. I'm going to knock out all this work. And then I get on that plane and it doesn't work. Well, you just haven't, thanks for giving me my money back. But what about the 6 hours of travel time that I was planning to work and I couldn't? Because what you told me would be available to me wasn't available to me. I'm coming around a little bit.
Yeah, I just think you just see all these horror stories about people and their flights get delayed, their flights get canceled, they're sleeping on the chairs in the airports and things like that. And I'm just like, man, we need to.
They will screw you. They will. Like I got into a big argument with Delta within the past year. It was with Kelly and one of Kelly's employees. They were flying to, I don't know, wherever they were going, they were flying. And they were just hanging out in the lounge at the Sky Club, like I think at Memphis International. And, let's say just flight leaves at noon. And, they'll tell you shut the doors 10 minutes before, maybe 15. I always say 20 is like I'm going to get there at 20, right?
Yeah.
If you're there 20 minutes before takeoff, you should be fine. It is actually like they can't close. They should not be allowed to close the doors before that.
Right.
So I always get there at 20. Well, they got there with 12 minutes before departure. And they shut the doors on them. And or maybe it was 6. I don't remember exactly what it was. I don't want to get caught up in some lie.
Right.
But it was like whatever the stated the doors close at this time, whatever that, if it's 15, let's say it's 15 minutes. They were there 17 minutes before. They might have only had 2 minutes of wiggle room, but they had 2 minutes wiggle room. So I'm on the phone with them, and they just took them off the flight. They wouldn't let them on. They said, no, we gave your seats away. Well, how could you give our seats away? We're here 17 minutes before departure. You're not supposed to close the door at 50. Well, so I'm on the phone with them, and I'm like, listen, you've messed up an entire travel day. I get it. If she was late, that's on her. I'll hang up with you, and I'll tell her she should have done better. But this seems to be you. And I said, just let me ask you a serious, because they kept trying to, well, Mr. Parrish, no. What time are doors supposed to close? 15 minutes before departure. Okay. You're not even disputing that they were there 17 minutes before departure. You're not even arguing with me.
Right.
So tell me how they were wrong. You said you got to be here by this time. They were there by that time. Tell me how they were wrong. If you tell me how they were wrong, I'll hang up with you and I'll tell them they were wrong. But so far I've heard nothing that suggests that they were wrong. And they just wouldn't budge until finally they just, like you said, overwhelmed her with Delta miles. They were like, here's 60,000 miles. Please just hang up leave us alone.
Right.
But it took me having to call. Otherwise, they would have just left it there.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do. That's just kind of like, I don't know. I tend to never side with the airline industries because it just seems like they never do enough to try to make the experience easier on the customer when something goes wrong. It never seems like it's the case.
All right. I'm going to give Jessica Chastain a break on this one. I don't feel like you actually accomplished much by complaining about $15 as like an Academy Award nominee.
Of course,
okay?
Yes, yeah.
I just think you're going to lose people right from the jump, just like you lost me right from the jump. But if Jessica Chastain says, I know I'm going to, this is what I hope Jessica Chastain would say. I know I'm going to get ridiculed for complaining about $15 online. I know I'm going to get ridiculed for that because it's a millionaire complaining about $15. I got it. I'm not complaining for me. I'm complaining because they'll do this to you too.
Yes.
I am lucky enough to have a platform where when I complain, it'll get on TMZ.
And people see it. Yeah.
People will see it. All right? You complain, nobody sees it. I'm fighting for you. I hope that's what Jessica Chastain
I think
said.
it is what she was doing.
And if she was doing that,
She's smart.
Then let's tip a hat to her.
Let's
okay?
go.
Let's tip a hat to her.
Let's go.
Let's go, Jessica Chastain.
Yeah.
I like her. Bennett says she's beautiful.
4.
She's great.
Number 5.
I got some bad news. Were you planning on living a long life? Because you're probably not going to.
I wasn't.
I wasn't either.
I wasn't.
either.
I'm hard, dude. I'm 37. I'm already starting to break down a little bit.
I know, me too.
I don't like that. So yeah, am I planning to live a long life? Probably not.
Okay, good.
I would hope to.
Good.
I want to live a fulfilling life.
Yeah, I want to live a fulfilling life. It doesn't have to be the longest. I don't have to have the longest life. I would just like to be fulfilled. How you doing? Do you feel fulfilled?
I do feel fulfilled. I mean, I'd like a couple more years for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like a couple more years. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, I'm not getting it twisted.
But do I expect to live to be 100? Absolutely not.
Okay. Oh, hey, by the way, what percentage of Americans make it to 100? What do you think?
I'll say 30%.
Are you crazy?
10%. 5%. 2%.
2%.
2% of Americans live to be 100. Yeah, why did I say that?
I don't know. The most obvious answer is you're terrible at math.
Yeah, I would think that like maybe 90. I would say if you said 90.
Yeah, I didn't know. I said 100.
I know you said 100.
2% of Americans make it to 100. 5% of folks in Japan make it to 100. And in Hong Kong, it's 9%.
How about that?
Do you realize... Don't let me bury the lead. I'll give you all the other stuff in a minute.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's the lead. A researcher has predicted that human life expectancy will not grow much more. It has consistently been growing with, medicine breakthroughs, technology. It has consistently grown. Like if you were born in 1900, you were expected to live a certain amount of years. But if you were born in 1950, it's even more years. 1980, it's even more years. This has been a trend for as long as you've been alive, Bennett.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. It's starting to plateau a little bit, taper off a little bit. And do you want to know why? Here's what the researcher says. He says that we've just about stretched it as far as we can stretch it. Because the aging process is real. Mm-hmm. You can try to slow it down, but you can't stop it. And you will die.
What about that dude that's like injecting like his son's blood into his bloodstream? Have you seen that story? Like the rich guy? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think it's all above board. Like there
are serious people who think that we are like a breakthrough or two away from living till we're 150. And what this study shows is that we're not really.
So this guy that I'm talking about is one of those people and I think he's in his 50s. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing about it is, but sure, he's like in really good shape and whatever. Like he looks good for a 50-year-old, right? But he still looks like he could be like a 50-year-old.
Of course.
Like, and so I'm like, it's something like I guess it's like he injects his son's blood into his bloodstream, and it's like the younger blood. Like, very strange.
I don't know.
But I just look at pictures of him, and I'm like, okay, man, like, yeah, you look good for a 50-year-old, but you still look like a 50-year-old. Yeah. I don't know what you're trying to prove here.
I don't know what Here's the quote. He said, we're squeezing less and less life out of these life-extending technologies, and the reason is aging gets in the way. Aging gets in the way. Like we can extend. Here's the point. We have figured out ways to extend life, but we've pretty much maxed out on it.
Okay.
It's about over. Do you know what the average life expectancy for a man in the United States is?
I'm going to say it is 68 years old.
74.8.
Okay.
74.8.
I'd take it.
I'd take that.
I would take that right now. You said you give me 74 right now. Sign me up. I'm in.
I think I'd have to.
Yeah.
You realize no men in my family have like made it to 70.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I ain't got a good chance.
You're in good shape, man.
Look at me.
Nah, you're in good shape. You've changed your. I saw that picture that they posted of you when they thought you were Dan Hurley the other day. You've come a long way.
I'm working.
Yeah,
I'm working. I guess. I think maybe you take 74.8. I think maybe you do. Women. Life expectancy for women in the United States, you know what it is?
I bet it is 81.
It's 80.2. Mm-hmm. Women live longer than men. You want to know why?
Yeah.
There's some theories. You want to know why? Men in the United States die more often than women from drug overdoses.
Okay.
Men commit suicide more often than women.
Okay.
Men smoke more than women.
Yep.
And consume alcohol more than women.
That's a big one.
And men do not exercise as much as women.
Okay. Yeah, but it's like both of my grandmothers lived way, way longer than their husbands.
See?
Yeah.
See? Do you know we're not even in the top 40 nationally in life expectancy, the United States of America?
Oh, I know why.
Why?
Our food.
That's part of it.
It's our food. Everybody says that when you go, like people that moved from the United States and lived in other countries, they say that like they got healthier, that they felt healthier, and it's because our foods have all kinds of crap in them.
Our food is crap.
Yeah.
Also, in other countries, they tend to walk more than we walk here.
Yeah.
Like
I'm trying to walk more.
Every year, when I start traveling back and forth to New York every week, people say things like, "Oh, you enjoying the food?" And the truth is, like, I lose weight every year when I'm in New York because of the walking.
Yeah.
You're just walking more.
That's why I like working.
I walk to work.
That's why I like working downtown, because like we get done with the show, I'll go walk around, get some lunch.
Like I walk a mile to work every day, and I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Like if somebody told you, "Hey, step out your front door today and walk a mile somewhere," you'd be like, "What?" But in the big city, you just walk around. It feels normal. So yeah, we got a lot of problems here in the United States. Food is one of them. Obesity. Among the reasons our life expectancy in the United States isn't top 40 in the world, obesity tied to the food. Also, we have more drug overdoses than other countries. We have more shootings than other countries. And we have inequities in healthcare coverage that make it difficult for people to take care of themselves.
Yep. That all makes sense.
You'd think being the most advanced and most powerful nation, we'd be better at some of this stuff, you know?
I know. It's true. Like people scared to go to the doctor because they don't want the bill. I mean, it just is what it is.
There's got to be a better. Yeah. There's got to be a better way to do this.
There's got to be. Yeah. There's got to be. Yeah. Well, sign me up for 74.
Yeah, me too.
I'd lock it in right now.
I'll lock that in too.
And I'd be grateful to live that long.
Me too. Me too. Anyway, if you were planning to live to 150, I mean, don't let me ruin it for you. Give it your best shot.
Yeah, go for it.
But what research is telling us is that that's just probably not the way this is going to go.
Yeah.
Aging gets in the way. I figured it would.
I figured it would, too.
I figured it would.